Hello, I'm going to show you how to do a histogram with both Microsoft Excel and with Google Sheets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Microsoft Excel first. Now, there is a little bit of an issue depending on what version of Microsoft Excel you have. If you have an older version, some of what I do will not be available to you, but I'll show you the workaround provided you've uploaded the data analysis pack, which I've showed you how to do in another video. So let's take a look here. And of course, I need to share screen. I just clicked on that without. Okay, there's my share screen. Now, suppose I'd like to do a histogram for exam 1. So what you do here is you select the data, and you can just select it as a column by clicking on the top like that, just basically a left click. And then go to Insert, and you look at all the charts. Now, what you could do is you could go ahead and say, all right, you look at these. And this one with these little bars going up is Insert Statistic Chart. You can see the little box there. So you click on that, and you want to click this, and that gives you a instant histogram. Now, the problem or the issue here is that this gives you an automatic bin width, and the default is 4 units. And you might not wish to have a 4-unit, 4 box or 4 bin type thing. Each one of these is a bin. This says that you have this says you have 6 scores between 54 and 68. This says you have 13 scores between 68 and 82. This says you have 7 scores between 82 and 96. And this says you have 5 scores between 96 and 110. Now you might wish to customize your bin width a little bit. So the way you can do that, you can do it one of 2 ways, is first of all, click on the chart overall like this, and then look at the arrow. Now you see how the arrow here, see how it has a series thing there? You see the little box down there, it says chart area? That's this little thing right here. The little box says chart area. What you want to do is you want to go to where some of these numbers are. And you see how that little box says horizontal axis? Now you can do one of 2 things. You can either double left click or you can right click. And now if you do it the right click method, like so, you have horizontal axis, so you go to Format Axis and click that, and you get this dialog box. Now a second way to do that is to go put your arrow on one of those numbers, and you see where it says horizontal axis, and double click it. And that does the same thing, double left click. Either way works. Now you see this is set up by automatic. Now what you can do is you could say, well, I want my bin width, and let's say you want your bin width to be 5. So you could do that and click on 5, and you get a different looking histogram. And you can see the 59, 64, 64, 69, or so forth. Okay, or you could say I want to have, let's say, 6 bins. So you click 6 there, and this gives you 6 bins. Now this is kind of a weird little thing here. You might not want to do that. So you might say, go to bin width, and let's say you want to make bin width maybe 5, like we did before, and do that. And that gives you a different looking histogram. You can see 74 to 79 has more scores than any one of the other category. Now, there's some value of having wider bins and some value of having narrower bins, and we'll discuss that at a later time. But that's basically how you can do that. Now, suppose, for example, you didn't, when you went to insert and your chart did not offer this option, that probably means you have an older version of Excel. What you can do instead is you could go to data, and hopefully you've had the data analysis pack add-in loaded in, and I showed you how to do that. So you go to data analysis, and you go to histogram. Now, the thing is that your input range is good to go, but we need something called the bin range. So I better cancel this. I'll cancel that. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this chart just because it's, I want to make a new one. So let's go ahead and figure out our bin width. Now, say for exam 1, let's call this the bins. What you do with your bin width is these are going to be the lower, what you can do is you put in the numbers, and let's say I want to go 50, 59, and I'll explain what's going on here, 69, 79, 89. And so what this will basically do is this will put the number, then what this will do is in the first bin, 50 is as high as it goes. This bin, 59 is as high as, this one will go from 59 to 50. This bin will be 69 to 59, or 69 to 60, and so forth. 79 to 70, 89 to 80. You know, this number is included in the bin, and then this will be a more than. But, and it's also, I recommend putting in a little label like this. So now we go to data analysis and go OK. In the input range, you can just enter like this. Now the bin range, you're going to actually need one of those. Well, we'll have to move the spreadsheet up. And your bin, I'm going to just do this. Now, because the very top slot has a label, we click Labels. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it go to a new worksheet ply, in other words, a new sheet, or you can click here to see where it goes. So you go like this. And what we get is we get a little chart right here. And this little chart says from 50 and onward, we only get 0. Up to 50, we don't have any. From 50 to 59, we have 1. To 60, 69, we have 5. 70, 79, we have 10. We have 7 between 80 and 89, and more than 90 or more, we have 8. Okay. Now that's not a that's a word histogram. It's not a how can I say it? It's not a it's not the the graph. Now what we can do is now we can go to insert and go to a chart. And rather than doing one of these, this is assuming you don't have that. Suppose you have a bar chart, column or a bar chart. Let's say you have like that. Let's say you have this. And let's go ahead and try to do the insert chart here. And you can see you do have something like a histogram. It's not a histogram because these things should really, there should be no gaps like so. For it to be a true histogram, there shouldn't be any gaps. But in fact, what you can do with this is that you can change the style and do things like that. But the point is that this is a bar chart, but the bar chart has the same bars as a histogram. The difference is that the histogram has these joined together. But you can, it's sort of like passable. So that's what you might have to do with an old version of Excel. Now let's go to Google Sheets. And I'm just not going to save that. I'll just do that. Google Sheets, suppose you want to do a histogram. Well, you go to Insert, you go to Chart, and it's going to give you some, when you say chart. Now the histogram popped up sort of by luck right here. And you see what will happen is that you'll get a whole different types of charts. This was sort of smart, so I recommended a histogram, but you could, choose one of these other types. But let's assume we have a histogram, and let's say we'd like to go ahead and we'd like to customize this. So let's customize our histogram and our bucket size. These things here are called buckets. Let's say we wanted to have only 5 in every bucket, so we choose that, and it of course changes the shape. Or let's say we want to have 10 in every one, and then, well, we get less information here. Okay, now this is not the same grade set. That's why it doesn't look the same. But that's how you can, by going to customize, that's how you can do a histogram with Google Sheets. Now, let's go ahead and go back to Excel. And this opened the same file I had before. Don't need that. Now, you can say, all right, now suppose what I want to do with this is suppose I'd like to do what's known as a stem and leaf plot. That's something like a histogram. We've gone over what one is in class, but let's go over the stem and leaf. So let's copy that. I'm just going to use this down here. Move this out of the way. Paste it. All right. Now, what way you can do this manually is click on this and go to Data and go to Sort. Now sort, this one here goes from lowest to highest, so let's click on that sort thing. And sure enough, that goes there. Now you can do this manually. And remember, your stems are going to be everything to the left of your last digit. And your leaves will be the following digits. So one way to do that is you say, okay, I'm going to put a 5 here. Then the next one is a 6. The next first digit. The next digit is a 7. The next one's going to be an 8. And this one's going to be a 9. And let's see how far down this goes. And this actually does have a 10. So that's going to be the stems. Now let's work on the leaves. Now I'm going to do a little trick right here to get this to show up. I'm going to go ahead and put a quote to make this a data thing. Now this one here, notice you have 0, 0, so 0, 0, 5, 7, 7. And I'm doing that to make this a data thing. If you don't do that, it won't put in the zeros. It'll treat it like a number. For 7, we got a 2, a 2, a 4, a 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. That's okay. We'll fix the formatting up a little bit. For the 8s, we better move this a little bit. We have a 0, 2, 2, 7, 8, 9, 9. For the 9s, we have a 0, 5, 6, 7, 9. Let's see if there's any more. And there's 2 9s. Zero, 5, 6, 7, 9, 9. Then the very last one, with our stem being a 10, we have a 1 and a 3. Now, what you can do with this is you click on this, go to Home, and do the format, do the auto column width. That way it'll cover all your things. Now, if you notice, here are your stems, here are your leaves, and notice this almost looks like a histogram. This basically tells you how many are in this. It's almost like a histogram where these are your bins are defined like that, but this is a stem and leaf plot. And that's how you can do it with Excel. And Google Sheets is very similar, and thanks for watching.